Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Let's Talk with Kimberly Nicole podcast. This is season 1, episode 6, and today we are going to talk about gratitude. It's been a little while, fam, but I'm back and I'm ready to talk to y'all. Just have a little chat from the heart today about gratitude as we're going into the season of gratefulness. Tis the season of giving and all the joy. I think the season of giving is all year because I'm a giver, but we're kind of going into that season where we think about gratitude, giving, and joy. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, follow _Let's Talk Wellness, and you will get notifications when content such as this comes out, such as new podcast episodes, etc., anything that I add to the channel, which right now is just the YouTube podcast show episodes. As you see in the background, look, I'm back in my normal spot and you see a little fall decor. So feeling very fall-like. Just a little bit about me. Those that know me know that I'm really, well, I was gonna say I'm not a fall girl, but I feel like I'm beginning to turn a little bit more into a fall girl as I get older. Now, I don't like cold weather. So, I mean, a happy range for me is 60 to, not even 60, like 65 to 79 is probably like a happy range for me. And even 65 to 77, 75. Outdoors, I think that's like the perfect temperature range. And I don't mind the 50s in the morning or at night because I like a cool, crisp night, but a nice, warm afternoon. Don't like a lot of layers. Just like to be outside in the beautiful sun, but not humidity, not overwhelming heat, and definitely not the cold. So, with that being said, never really been a fall girly. Spring is straight up my favorite season. I love spring for so many reasons. I am a spring baby, so that is a part of it. But I love the weather and the newness of spring. And it's like after coming through a dark bit of winter, because I do not like winter, boom, there comes spring with all things new. So I could get really deep into what that means to me, but I won't do that for this episode. So not really a fall girly, but this year, I have just been in the spirit of decorating for fall. I have been purging and cleaning out my storage and even just getting rid of things around the house. And so in August, I started decorating for fall because I was getting rid of all the things. So, I was pulling out things and I was like, oh, this is cute. This is beautiful. This is giving fall. And so we just started decorating for fall. And this cute little what am I trying to say? Picture behind me is I got it at a yard sale for $1, I believe. It was I want to say it was $1. I've been yard selling, so and I've been finding some really good finds. And so, it's giving grown ass woman vibes, and I didn't have to pay a whole lot for it. So I'm loving that, right? All right. So, just a little bit about, like I said, it's been a little while, guys. It has been a busy, busy time. I have been learning to give myself grace, not to escape accountability, but give myself grace. Because when I initially decided to do this YouTube podcast show, my wonderful coach, shout out to Tia, she was telling me, don't get married to those dates, girl. And so because I had dates for when I wanted episodes to come out, and I'll be honest, I've been very consistent about the dates. They've been coming out on the dates for the most part. However, I did take a break at the beginning of the month, gave myself a little grace because the episode that I had scheduled in was about the topic of comparison. And so when I did my last episode 5, ended up having a part 2 and talked a little bit about comparison in that episode. And so because I was traveling at the top of the month, and I had already covered comparison, I was like, you know what? We're gonna give some grace because I was just gonna release it on the 5th instead of the 1st. But due to travel and just some other things I had going on, I decided, you know what? Let's give some grace. And I will say, I was like, at first, I don't think that the episode is necessary because I have already talked about the topic of comparison in my last episode. But I have seen where it just might be necessary to put it out, just might have to be at a later date, maybe a mini episode, or I may bring somebody on, or again, I might just do a mini episode. So just stay tuned for that. But I did want to come back to you all today and get back on my path and momentum of keeping this going, because consistency is important, and consistency is also important for me personally as I'm on this journey of betting on myself, stepping out and doing things. I need to be able to show myself that, hey, we can do this. We got this. We're gonna, we put this idea out there. We started it, and we're gonna follow through and see it. And so that's probably a word for somebody else. So just reach up and grab it and take it. Okay. All right. So now back to talking, or let's start talking about gratitude. So when I think about gratitude, I think about all the things that I have that I could be grateful for. And so when I think about what I'm grateful for, it's so much, but I always start with life. I always start with life when I think about like all the things that I'm grateful for. Like if you ask me to list three things, life itself is going to be in the top three, because life is such a blessing. So many people are excuse me, going out of here at what we can feel like is before their time, but only God knows how much time we have in this fleshly body on this earth. But it just seems like people are passing away at a younger and younger age. So life, I just am so grateful to be living, to be in the land of the living, as the old saints say, or the older saints say. Very grateful to be in the land of the living. Just very grateful to be able to wake up, to breathe, to continue on this journey of purpose, even when life gets hard, even when life, I'm experiencing the good and the bad. Because when I look over my life, and even when I think about the last 2 years of my life, I've had some very high moments and I've had some very low moments. And they haven't all been that far apart. I've shared a little bit about my journey in last fall. I started a new position and I absolutely loved it. And I became very aware of how one area of your life can be going amazingly well. You can be exciting, while another area or areas, not so much. You're experiencing sadness and grief and maybe even despair. So I've had a lot of those moments over the last year where I'm very happy, very thrilled, getting great opportunities in certain areas. But then there's some other things where I haven't been as thrilled, but I'm grateful through it all. Things haven't necessarily gone how I wanted or how I envisioned, because I am very big on I see a picture of what I want, and I've learned as I've gotten older to be able to pivot from that picture, to be willing to pivot from the picture of the picture I paint in my head of how I think a thing should go. So with that said, I'm grateful through the good, through the bad, through the whole entire journey. I'm just grateful to be able to journey through it all. Some more things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to be surrounded by love and support. I don't take that lightly or take that for granted. When people show up for me, when people support me, when people are really just there for me, when they because they don't have to, or we all have a lot of different things going on in our lives. So I don't take it lightly when someone chooses to show up for me. And that can look like literally showing up for me. Like if I have an event or a function, I need help with something, hey, Kim, what do you need help with? Because for so long I struggled with accepting help and with asking for it. So now that I'm out of that season, thank you, Jesus, for deliverance from that. I really appreciate when people just show up, do things to make life a little bit easier for me. Or even just knowing, like, listening to me. I'm so grateful for people that listen to me, that provide a space that I can, a soft place for me to land. Just the other day, I called one of my friends and I said, one of my sister friends that I trust, and I said, girl, I think I just need a vent. And so I talked her ear off. And at the end of the conversation, I was like, thank you so much for listening to me, because so many times I'm the listener. I'm the strong person for other people. So it means a lot to me when someone can just provide that same space for me, somewhere that I can just, have a soft place to land and just share the deepest parts of my heart without judgment, because that's something that I struggle with sometimes, if I'm honest. or I'll say I've experienced judgment. And so sometimes I can carry that, internalize that a little bit more than I realize, and it will essentially cause me to filter or either just not share what's on my heart. So I really appreciate the people that in my life that have provided just a space where I can just be unfiltered, raw. I can share what's on my heart. And especially as a counselor, a mental health professional, I'm always telling people you got to get out what's in you, right? So you can't be sitting here like overloaded with all the things that you have going on. You have to get it out one way or another. So whether that's journaling, talking to people, talking to friends, talking to a therapist, which I think that's a great avenue. And I don't think that friends and therapy should be interchangeable in a sense. I think hanging with friends can be therapeutic and talking with friends can be therapeutic, but what I mean by that is your friends are not your therapist. So I think having that great outlet through a therapist, but also having friends that are your support system too, just knowing that boundary. Both parties have to know that boundary. So I don't take it lightly, and I really appreciate those spaces in my life that I can go to and just let my hair down. When I think about some other things, excuse me, my throat is dry. When I think about some other things that I'm grateful for, hmm, this is a little superficial, shallow. I don't care. We need it to survive. I'm grateful for food. I am a foodie. I love food. When we think about do you live to eat or do you eat to live? I probably live to eat when I should eat to live. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I eat. I have to eat to live, but I live to eat. Like I'm the girl that's thinking about my next meal while I'm eating a meal. I'm at breakfast thinking about dinner or lunch because I really do love food. And with Thanksgiving coming up, I'm very excited about eating. I'm also excited about fellowship. I'm excited about rest really this year. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm very excited about rest because it has been a busy couple of months with all the things. And I'm very excited about an opportunity to be on the couch, watch some TV, rest, not have any responsibilities calling my name. Now, I'm thinking about, excuse me, some things that I have to do. And so I'm like, I know for the whole Thanksgiving break, I won't be able to just do absolutely nothing. But I'm definitely going to steal away some periods of time where I'm just on the couch, maybe even with the phone on D&D because I love engagement, but I also love my alone time. I very much value my alone time, and I'm grateful to have a mixture of that in my life. Grateful to have engagement and socialization, and I'm also very grateful to have my alone time to recharge. I'm a thinker, I'm also a doer, so I'm either moving physically, my mind is moving. So I do a lot of processing, a lot of thinking, but also a lot of talking and executing. So I'm grateful it's hard sometimes to just sit down somewhere, but I'm grateful for the opportunities and the times that I get to do that. I'm grateful for my relationship with God. Very grateful for that. Um, I be like, me and God, we here. Well, no, I pause. I don't say we here because we don't always see eye to eye, but I be like, we here. But there are some moments where I feel like, okay, are we here? Are you here? And I'm here. But overall, I'm very much so grateful to be able to have a relationship with God. I'm grateful to be able to talk with him, even though sometimes I feel like he don't hear me. If I'm just being honest. And that's one thing you're gonna get is honesty. I do sometimes feel like, okay, did you hear me? And I get all the principles, and even, as someone that I think 22 when I first gave my life to Christ and got saved, and developed my own relationship because I grew up in church. I was 21 or 22. So I grew up in church. But I tell people I don't feel like the church grew up in me. Like it was more of a function. I ain't had no choice. At my parents' house, as for me in my house, we will serve the Lord. But not only that, it was as for me in my house, we will go to church. So I was always at church with my parents. They were very active on the boards and everything. And I was very active. Like I sang in the choir. I was an usher, all the things. So That was a big part of my life, but I didn't really know that relationship with God until I was in my early 20s. And so, it's been a journey like any relationship. You fall out. Now God ain't fell out with me, and for that I'm very grateful. But I have fallen out with him many times. And when I say that, like, I have, done things that, I've strayed. I've always, I've tried to come back and pray and, repent and ask for forgiveness, because part of being a Christian isn't being perfect by any means. So we're constantly living, constantly repenting. And God constantly gives grace. So that's when I say he ain't fell out with me. He constantly is giving me grace. And opportunities to get it right and to turn back to him. And I'm grateful, so grateful for that. Even when there were times that I was just straight up foolish, like just straight up acting out, doing whatever, not really caring, tired of following God and feeling like it was just too hard to live for God and all the things. He's never given up on me. And that is making me feel a little my eyes feel like they about to sweat. And I ain't a crier, for those of you that know me. So yeah, so we're gonna see what happens. My tissues across the room because I don't really be needing them. So they're not even over here. But yeah, so I'm so grateful. And I promise you I'm not holding back the tears. I did feel a little sting when I said it, but they're not coming. And again, if you know me, that's totally normal for me. I'm totally okay. But I'm very grateful for having that relationship with him. I already kind of I mentioned I'm grateful for the people in my life. So I'm grateful for the natural relationships that I believe the individuals that God has placed into my life, onto my path. No matter what capacity we're in relationship with, I'm so grateful for how you've poured into me, grateful for how I've been able to pour into you. I'm very grateful for I'm grateful for my job, because I love what I do, but I'm grateful to be employed, grateful for the students that I serve, clients, because here's the thing. As a mental health professional, I help hold a lot of people accountable, whether that be in their mental health or it could be in some other endeavors and goals that they have. But the people that I serve have no idea how much they hold me accountable, because they hold me accountable to be a better woman, to study harder, to go harder, to research harder, to learn more, to go to different conferences and trainings and gain as much as I can to serve them in the best way that I can. And even I will say that there have been times where I have had clients and I'm like, God, you funny, because I'm sitting here helping to coach them through something that you ain't finished working on me with yet. And it's amazing how you're giving me like the words and the strategy to give to them. And then I'm sitting here after the session is over and I'm like, well, dang, like I just need to eat that. I need to eat that. I need to do that too. Like, God, you told me I need to do that too. Okay, bet. Well, let me try. And it's like, okay, well, you're out here preaching this and you're out here because sometimes being a counselor, it almost feels like I'm preaching to people. And I say that in the sense of not because I'm telling people what to do so much, but sometimes I can get into a mode when I am in a counseling session where sometimes I hear myself and I'm like, girl, you really sound like you are this is a word that you're giving somebody. And I do believe in, for lack of a better word, I was gonna say overlap of the gifts. One thing that I became very in tune with in my late 20s was I felt like duality. I felt like a lot of the work that I was gonna do, kingdom work, was going to be outside of the four walls of a church. And so I will say that I'm grateful to have seen that manifest in a very visible way in the last specifically 2 years of my life. I'm not saying that it wasn't happening before then, but if I look at, or even the last year and a half, year and 2-3 months, I will say since September of last year, I have very visibly seen the work. And even before then, like, I can think of a few instances where I'm like, yeah, I definitely see my purpose being executed in the secular space. When I say the secular space, just the like a job, or the things that I do work wise, outside or business wise, outside of the four walls of a church. And that's something that I really want to leave with people too, is, sometimes you can be deceived and feeling like you're not doing ministry or kingdom work, but all of the kingdom work and ministry does not take place within the four walls of the church. I'm not, or the building of the church, because really, if you're a Christian, we are the church. And I'm not knocking the four walls of the church. Please, let me be clear on that. But what I do want to make sure that individuals understand as we're living out this walk, a lot of the work that we do is outside of those four walls, and that is okay. And so if you are a nurse by vocation, you are a lawyer, teacher, therapist, social worker, et cetera, whatever your vocation is, don't feel like I'm not doing kingdom work because I'm not the church secretary. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do kingdom work anywhere, as long as kingdom is in you. Baby, you in it and not of it. Okay. So we in this world and not of it. So you can do kingdom work wherever you need to do kingdom work at. Okay. It functions out of you. Again, we are the church. You're walking around as a vessel. If you are, born again Christian, you are walking around as a vessel, carrying out the mission, no matter what you're doing. You can be a passenger on a plane, and you're doing kingdom work through conversations, through the smile that you have when you engage with individuals. Don't get me started on that, okay? So I'm gonna wrap this episode up just so it's not super long, because I could really go on and on and on and talk about all the things that I'm grateful for. Okay, because I have so many things that I can be grateful for. And then when we think about gratitude, I do believe that gratitude opens up the door for other things to come into your life, because and I don't believe, and I'm not saying that gratitude is, you should be grateful with the intent of opening up the door. Nothing wrong with wanting to open up the door for other things to come into your life. But I think it's just kind of the natural progression. If you're grateful for what you already have, that just opens the door for more to come in. Because if you're not grateful for what you already have, why do you really, why do you need anything else if you're not grateful for what you've already had? Now, it might sound a little harsh, but I mean, think about it. Like, if you have $5 and you're not grateful that you have $5, and that might not, it ain't gonna get you, like if you think about, okay, I need gas, I need this, and I got $5. Yeah, that's a tough situation. But be grateful that you do have that seed towards what you need. Ooh, bars. Okay. You got that seed towards what you need. So, just be grateful, because I mean, if you're not grateful for the five, why should the 5,000 come? You know what I'm saying? Like, when we think about the attitude behind it, and it's not just with money. That was just the first thing I thought of. If you're not grateful for the house you already have, why do you need a bigger house? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So here's the season for gratitude. So I told you all I have a little surprise. If you read the show notes, I told you all that I do have a surprise for my listeners. So when we think about in terms of gratitude, I'm grateful to each and every one of you that has listened. If you have even listened to a clip of an episode, because I know how it is. We busy out here. So you can turn on an episode. I got a podcast I started listening to earlier today. And as I was making my transitions, I stopped listening. So I'm going to go back and finish at another time. So I understand that, sometimes we get started with something and we can't finish it. So if you've even turned this on for a second, I'm grateful for you. Now, I do hope you go back and listen to the whole thing, but I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for every follow, grateful for every share, grateful for every person in my life that I have shared this endeavor with, and they've, cheered me on, even if it's like dope, like, yo, Kim, I'm proud of you. Keep up the great work. Even if it's a listen, a share, I'm grateful for everyone that has subscribed. I'm grateful for everyone that's believed in me, and I'm grateful for God giving me the gumption to believe in myself to do this as well. So if you're listening to this, I am going to bless one lucky listener with with tree decor. So I'm going to decorate a Christmas tree for you, because Christmas is coming up. And so we know 'tis the season for all things Christmas and Christmas decor. So one of the things that I do through illustrious moments, where I do event planning and or not event planning, excuse me, event designs, So I do different designs for events. I also do Christmas tree decor. So with the holidays coming up, one of my listeners is going to I'm going to decorate a 4 to 6 foot tree for you. Now, the tree is on you. You have to provide the tree, and it can be a 4 foot tree, a 5 foot tree, or a 6 foot tree. I will provide the decorations. I do have some decorations already. And so, whoever the lucky winner is, we'll talk about that and we will coordinate that date. So, how do you win this? So, I want everyone that is listening to this to share. I'm going to post this on Facebook and Instagram. I want you can share it on Facebook or Instagram, but you need to make sure that you tag me so I know that you shared it, because I will not know that you shared it if you don't tag me, and then you won't be entered to win. So I am Kimberly Nicole on Facebook, and I am at underscore Let's Talk Wellness on Instagram. And so I'm or underscore Let's Talk podcast KN. So I'm going to add those to the show notes. So make sure that you tag one of those accounts when you share it on IG or Facebook. I am going to do the drawing. I'm going to actually do the drawing. What is today? I'm going to give a week. So I'm going to do the drawing next Wednesday. I'm going to do the drawing on what is next Wednesday, the 22nd. So the day before Thanksgiving is when I will do the drawing. And so I will announce the winner on social media, and then we will coordinate. So if you do win, make sure because each share, and I will say this, each share is an entry. So if you share multiple times and you tag me, because you got to tag me, because if you share and don't tag me, I don't know. So if you share and you tag me multiple times, then I will enter you into the drawing multiple times. And then on I don't know why I wanted to say November 22nd, I will do the drawing, and then I will announce on social media who the winner is, and I will coordinate with you. And what I will do is, if you go to my Instagram, I have quite a few Instagrams. And so for illustrious moments, I'll put this in the notes too. If you go to at underscore illustrious moments, and I'm gonna spell it out and put it in the show notes, see some of the trees that I have decorated in the past. So again, one lucky winner is gonna win. I'm gonna decorate your tree for free this year. It has to be a 4 foot, a 5 foot, or a 6 foot tree, and I will provide the ornaments for the tree. So I'm excited. Please share. Make sure that you tag me. I will enter all. If you share it 10 times, that's 10 entries. And then I'm going to draw a winner next Wednesday. And I will also announce the winner next Wednesday, or either first thing on Thursday. But my aim is to announce the winner on Wednesday. So again, thank you all for staying tuned, for tuning in and watching this episode. Please follow at underscore Let's Talk Wellness. You'll get notifications when more episodes and content drop. And thank you all for giving me grace, even if you didn't. When there was a little gap in between my last episode and this episode. And stay tuned, because more great content is coming. And season 2 is right around the corner. We're not done with season 1 yet. This is not wrapping up season 1, but season 2 is right around the corner, and I have some surprises in store. So, all right, everybody, peace out. Have a great night.